This is Tom Rust for TRSB Sports. Today, delighted to be joined by pro boxer Jamie Robinson. Jamie, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, Tom. Yourself, mate?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Thanks for jumping on tonight, mate. I know you're a busy man, so yeah, we appreciate your time.
No worries at all, mate.
Listen, mate, just want to jump into it really straight away. There's so much going on in the world of boxing at the moment. Do you watch much boxing? I think sometimes we think just because you are a pro boxer, you probably watch a lot of it. Do you get time to enjoy much of it?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
And yeah, there's so much moment. Obviously, Eddie Hearn, DAZN, Frank Warren, Sky linking up with boxing now.
Yeah, boxing's on a proper up in a minute, innit? Flying.
Yeah, there seems to be a show on every weekend. What's been your best fight this year so far?
To be fair, Lee Wood and Conlon, unreal fight.
Yeah, it was a great fight, devastating knockout as well.
Yeah, great knockout. I said to my missus once he knocked him down, I said that's going to boost his confidence. He was like, obviously, he was disheartened all the fight, but he just kept going through. Going to be an hard man to beat when you've got a world title. You go out on your shield. You know what I mean? Very proud man as well, Lee Wood. And in the last round, I said to my missus, as soon as he come out, stuck it on Conlon. I said to my missus, he's gonna knock him out, and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, great shot as well.
So many other great fights as well. We had Williams, Eubank. That seems like a long time ago now. We've had Canberra.
Good, but I just feel like Williams was playing into Eubank's hands too much. Still feel like Williams performed very, very well. I think his head ruled his heart a little bit too much in that fight. So
yeah, it did seem like he was quite emotionally invested. There was a clear, dislike for each other. Do you feel like we still yet to see the best of Eubank? He always talks about winning titles.
He's a great fighter. I just feel people hate him because of his dad, and they just give him the same type of look as his dad does. I think he's a great fighter. Like, probably one of the best fighters in the country, to be fair to him. Like, I just feel like because he's lost to Billy Joe Saunders and he's like, who else has he been beat by? I just feel like that goes against him. But Billy Joe Saunders in his own right is an unbelievable fighter as well. So to be losing to Billy Joe Saunders after Eubank didn't really have a lot of amateur career and coming through like that, he's done very well as a pro. So he's got a big name as well. I don't think he's just off his dad's name as well. I think he's off himself. He's very good. I feel like he deserves a world title shot, like legitimate world title, not the IBO, legitimate world title shot. And yeah, he does. I think he'll do well. The way he dismantled James DeGale was incredible as well.
Who would you like to see him fight next?
I'd like to see him fight next. I'd like to see him fight Golovkin. He seems to be wanting to that fight a lot. So, just give him a fight where he wants, because he believes in himself, and we only know as fighters ourselves what our capabilities are. And if he feels like he's capable of beating him, then that's the fight I'd like to see him in.
It'd be interesting to see his next move. And what about if Billy Joe is to come back and fights Eubank again? Do you see the same outcome, or how do you see that fight going?
I like Billy Joe on a personal level as well. So yeah, I feel like Billy's just so naturally gifted. He just has to get fit, and like he's an unbelievable minded fighter. He's very clever, very skill wise. Very, very intelligent fighter, Billy Joe. Just a shame what happened to Canelo, but Canelo's the man. Like, he seems to be able to, I don't know, pull it out of the bag no matter whatever he does, whoever he is against. Since the Mayweather lost, I think like that was the biggest win he could ever have in his career. It's only just gone from levels to levels, and I don't believe you even see the best of what Canelo does bring now. So yeah, Billy Joe, he shouldn't take no disheartened to losing to Canelo, and I feel like he's still the man of that division, to be fair to him.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There's no disgrace in losing to Canelo, arguably one of the best fighters ever.
What do you reckon to Billy Joe and Golovkin, though? I think Billy Joe beats Golovkin.
Would be a great fight, mate. Would love to see it. Talking about big fights, just want to take you back a little bit. 12th of February, Brentwood Centre. Your fight, the whole card was brilliant. We was there actually.
Great card to be fair. Like, all my mates said to me like this, and that was a banging card. Like, there weren't no jank fight on it. So to be involved in that and to be even topping the bill was like he's incredible. So yeah, great to be involved in that night.
Did you manage to see any of the undercard, or is it the case of just getting there, getting into the changing room and just focusing on your fight?
Yeah, just getting there, focus on myself. Boxing's sort of a selfish sport, and if I boxed earlier in the night, I'd probably come out and watch a couple of fights. But yeah, when you sort of is your focus, I come out, I felt the atmosphere, I had a look around, and the crowd was unbelievable, to be fair. But yeah, one of my friends, Boy Jones, he boxed on the bill. He had a good fight. So, but I didn't see any. And Brad Axwell, he trains down at our gym as well. I didn't even get a chance to see him. So I need to really sit down and watch the card, but I ain't really had time to. Just been enjoying a bit of food and stuff like that, and just a bit of downtime. So.
Yeah, it was a brilliant occasion. It's been streamed live on IFL. You've had obviously a little time now to reflect on the fight. Your fight was an absolute war from watching it ringside. How do you feel about the fight now, looking back?
I feel like I won the fight. I feel like everyone in the crowd did, apart from two people who sat at ringside. They thought it went the other way. We thought we had it in the bag. I come back to the corner going into the ninth round. I said to my trainer, "What do you reckon?" He went, "You won every round apart from like one's close. The first round was close, but ninth round he probably nicked the round off me. He didn't boss any rounds. 10th round I come out, stuck it to Bill straight away again. And I don't know if it was a decent shot or I was off balance, but my leg sort of went behind me. And then he brought him into a tear up with me, which I didn't go running. I ended up standing my ground and having a little bit of a scrap with him. But I thought I did enough to win. I thought not enough. I thought I certainly won. That's why straight away after the decision, I put my hands up. I thought I won the fight. I still didn't feel like it was a great performance from me. I felt like I was just in autopilot at the time. The weight was killing me to make the 10-stone limit. Let's not go into that because it was just like it weren't a very good performance. But I had like a lot of stomach cramps and kept burping. Felt like I was going to be sick in the ring, and it was bad. I walked to the ring and I had my robe on, my gloves on, and I had to take my gloves off to go for a shit. And I was literally like, I was in a bad way, man. To box 10 rounds with that going off in myself and thinking, fucking hell, don't hit me in the body too much because I'll run up and shit myself or being sick, mate. So to box 10 rounds and have an absolute war like that, it's mad what the human body can do. So
how do you deal with that? Because moments before an English title fight, you're going out there fighting someone that you've been in the ring with before. You got the Dwarfs. You want to go in there and put it right, and you're not feeling great. How do you even deal with that moments before a fight?
I'm sat on the toilet and I'm thinking to myself, I can't really pull out. No matter who you are, I had a shitty ass, mate. I couldn't pull out. It was just one of them moments where, listen, you just gotta get in there and just hope for the best type thing. But all credit to Bill, he turned up, he gave it as good as what he got, to be fair, but I just felt like I deserved it. I threw more punches, I landed more punches, I bossed the ring, I controlled the fight. He was on the back foot all the time. I don't know what the judges was watching and how they was actually scoring the fight. I'd like to know, but we thought we had it in the bag, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it seemed like from being there and watching it, I was trying to watch it through your supporters. They were crazy. How I know you said earlier on, you can talk to your corner team, but when you're in there yourself, are you almost just scoring it yourself when you're in there?
No, I come back and I found my rhythm. Like I couldn't pick Bill's rhythm up. He's very hard to gauge. He's like, no disrespect to him, it's like boxing someone who hasn't really got a clue what he's going to do his next move. So to boxing and trying to gauge the rhythm off of him where he's so negative as well, like doesn't want to come forward. So trying to hit somebody while they're running away from shots, and then as soon as you're getting close, rolling in with their head. It's very hard to pick up a rhythm, but I felt like I picked up a rhythm about round 4. Round 5, I started laughing at him, and I could just see his heart, like his head was just thinking, like, Jesus, what's happening here? At 7th and 8th round, his corner was shouting things, he's knackered and that, and I was fine. But little things in my head thinking, do I look knackered? And like I'm having a little argument with myself in the ring. So he's called us got in my way. So I took away a little bit of experience from that as well. So to be fair to Bill, he's a game kid, and like he showed a lot of art in that fight as well. We both did, to be fair. Like both went out and up. We like give it everything we've got, to be fair. So
you've been in some tough fights. You know, you've been around the block a few times as well. Compared to the fighters you've been with previously, how highly do you rate him?
I believe like the only person who's ever beat me is like Atiq Shafiq, and that's only because he dropped me. I feel like I was coming on top in then, but I feel like I've just been outdone by all my career, and I've just had not the right fights really. The Billy Allington one, I wanted to on a boxing with Bolton, boxed terrible. I was jumping in, lunging in, and I boxed terrible, but I still believed I won that fight before I won it 5 rounds to 3. Where do I rate Billy? He's awkward in his own right, you know what I mean? He's unpredictable in what he does. I don't want to disrespect the kid because he's beat me, you know what I mean? He's English champion right now. I don't want to disrespect him, but yeah, like he's not the best kid I've ever boxed, put it that way. He's really like he's a bit amateurish, written obviously, but yeah, he's effective in what he does. So yeah, and I'm not being disrespectful to him.
I appreciate your honesty. After such a a tough fight, and when you feel like you're going to get the decision, your team feel like that as well, and when you don't, even when we were leaving that night, people were stopping us saying, who do you think won the fight? You had a massive support there, and I could hear people talking after the fight. How difficult is that to accept? Would it be easier in a way just for someone to knock you out and you don't make the count, or someone to beat you convincingly? So is that like almost easier to accept rather than feeling like you got the decision?
Like if I finished the fight and the kid was outclassing me, like when I lost her teeth, I knew I lost the fight. Like it was one of them moments where I was like, you know what, I've given me all, but fair play, geezer. Like you actually beat me, and like I'd rather get beaten like that way rather than standing at the decision. One judge says it's me 7 rounds to 3, and then the other 2 judges, who I've been told by a couple of people, they weren't even watching the fight. So, and they reversed it and give it the other way in exactly the same rounds. It don't make sense. How are you giving it 7-3 to me, but then in the other round you're giving it 7-3 the opposite way? It just doesn't make sense. So, I don't know what's happened there. Like, I did ask my management to like appeal the decision and see where we can go from there, but I don't know what's happened with that, where that's gone or whatever. But I don't think like anything would happen. Look at Josh Taylor. Look out! Like no disrespect to Josh Taylor, I like Josh Taylor on a personal level, but Jack Cottrell beat him that night, and like that's never been overrun. So it's just like one of them things where it's sort of like it's got to leave it where it is now.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you what do you think can happen in boxing, because as you just mentioned, Jack Cattrall, Josh Taylor, incredible big fight, on Sky, huge platform. It was clear as day. Do you feel like, do you think of anything that could actually help boxing? Because there seems to be so many fights at the moment where decisions are going in the way that, no one thinks they should be.
Something like you get 3 judges watching it, like the same way we do for the TV, up above. So like they all get split. So they have three other scores, and then you have 3 referee judges at ringside scoring a fight. And if there's a problem going off there, then use the other 3 what's around, where they're away from the crowd, away from the atmosphere, because them judges maybe got caught in the atmosphere, but what we see was completely different. So maybe just using the judge, another 3 judges like out of the arena or whatever, watching it the same as what we are, and judge it that way. So I don't know. It's a hard one. You know what I mean? It's just like you put your trust in them. They're getting paid good money. That's their job. And for them to like obviously like rob a fighter of his dream, and now Josh Taylor's going to move up. Jack Cottrell will probably never get the chance to be undisputed champion again, because it's so hard with the governing bodies to make it happen. I feel like he's lost out on his like life-changing events now. Like he could be a multi-millionaire right now in his next fight, because when you're an undisputed champion, you're getting millions, not like £500,000, what you probably got paid in that fight. You're probably getting paid like £4 million, £5 million a fight. It's life-changing money.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like he needs to pursue them for almost like loss of earnings, because his potential now, he's going to make a lot of money, but as you were mentioning, it's a difference between maybe hundreds of thousands to millions of pounds.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So get them governing bodies all together and become an undisputed champion. It's hard to happen. Like, there's not, like, look at the lightweights now. Like, once like one of them could vacate the titles and like Cambosa or whatever, like, I don't know what's happening with all that. But I said, like, Haney wins the world titles and then now he vacates it. It's going to be so hard for everyone to fight everyone, because not everyone gets along. You know what I mean? Like, if a world title comes in Frank Warren's hands and a world title comes in Eddie Hearn's hands, how them two geezers going to like come together? It's hard. It's only come together with Tyson Fury and White, because like White don't really work for like Eddie Hearn. He sort of goes on a fight by fight.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren have had that dinner yet. And Frank Warren at the moment seems to be loving the fact that he's got a huge fight, Wembley, keeps referring to Eddie Hearn's app, doesn't he? I think he's loving life at the moment.
Who wouldn't know? You just beat the new geezer on the block. Geezer on the block who's come around. He's taking everyone by storm, and he's doing unbelievably, Eddie Hearn, to be fair to him. And Frank Warren's an old school geezer, and he's standing by his guns. So it's like different eras having a little competition with each other. It is great, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like British boxing, if you had like one decent manager or they could all work together, we'd have so many decent fights in this country. But because them two don't get along, it hinders a lot of brilliant fights happening.
Do you like the UFC model? Because there's almost like no messing about, the best fight the best, and if you don't want to fight, you're out.
I love the fight. I love it. I love the UFC, the way the whole thing. If I could go back in my life, I'd definitely pick a mixed martial art and definitely have a guy like that. But the money's in boxing at the top of level. UFC lower level, to be fair, like they get paid a lot more than what boxers do and stuff. And they don't have to stress of selling tickets and stuff like that either. So I feel like the MMA world has got it patterned, but at the same time they're getting nowhere near as much money as the boxers. So
would you ever have a UFC fight? Someone called you out randomly, would you jump in there and have it?
No. I like my legs. I don't mind the wrestling and that. I've had like a couple of scraps on the street and that. Like, yeah, and I don't mind a little wrestle and stuff like that. But yeah, when it comes to somebody kicking on my shin, then it's game over.
Yes, it's a brutal sport. I was listening to a podcast the other day with James English. He was talking to I can't remember the chap's name, but he was a boxer, went to UFC, talking about all his injuries. It's absolutely brutal sport.
I feel like it is a tough sport because obviously that, but I feel like the boxing wise is more of a skillful tough, whereas UFC is like, I don't know, I feel like you just got to be like mad, just crazy, just getting in there and like doing that shit. Like, matey boys like one will move away from like ripping your arm now, and you probably don't have your arm back for a living. You know what I mean? It's ruining your life. It's crazy.
Yeah, mate, I've seen a bit of it, and I'm happy watching it. Never get involved. But yeah, it's absolutely brutal. Going into your title fight, I know you said on the night, you weren't feeling too great. What about the actual camp itself and making the weight?
Unbelievable. I had a wicked camp, to be fair. Like, I was in really good shape. I was flying. I didn't have no day off since when I boxed the Russian. I literally got back to running and I was training all over Christmas. I had a really good camp. I weren't training for Bill. Went to box the day before on my show on an MTK Bill on the 11th at York Hall. The British Boxing Board of Control made the fight happen. So Lee Eaton straight away was like, listen, we can get it on at your show, whatever. Like, listen, let's just make this fight happen. Like, I was eager to it. So I wasn't to Lee like, listen, let's just make this fight happen. I don't care where it is. Like, I want this fight. I want to redeem myself. So I wish I stuck by, looking back now, I wish I stuck by my guns and said, listen, let's get an MTK or let's do a purse bid or something like that and make it happen properly, because I feel like we could have had a little bit more out of that fight instead of like boxing on this show. And then all of a sudden I'm in the away corner. It's a 50-50 fight. We should have flicked coins. And I feel like when you're in the away corner, you don't really sort of get, not any favours. You don't want any favours, but you don't really get the fairer side. You know what I mean? They always look at the home boy like, oh, he's the boy who's meant to be winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's made me really consider myself of when it does come to them fights. I want to be in the home corner unless it's for a British title. I'll fight them in there. I'll fight them in their own living room. I don't care in it. Like that's the only fight what I'll probably end up fighting in the away corner again for.
So how hard has it been for you to come back? You know, when I sort of think of you, I think of like resilience. You've been through a lot of adversity in your life, you know, health battles, and you spoke quite openly about what you've been through in your past. But with boxing, unlike, you know, other sports, football, rugby, you know, you've got a team, maybe you can blame someone else. I know you've got your team in your corner and the people that prepare you for a fight, but ultimately come fight night, it's just you and your opponent in the ring.
Yeah,
so how do you just keep bouncing back?
I just think to myself, one day this opportunity what I've got now is not going to be available to me. I'm 30-year-old now, I'm coming up 31, and I've probably got like about another good 5 years even left in me. And I think to myself, like, I'll probably live until I'm about 80 odd, 35, something like that, hopefully like around that area. So I've got a good 45, 50 years left in me. And I've got like 5 years left in my career. And I think to myself, might as well give everything I've got until my time's up. And I know one day I will achieve my dream. So, and I think it's going to be like literally in like the next 18 months, I think I will be there. The welterweight's a cracking division. I don't believe they're going to run like the super lightweights. Everyone can super lightweight box, they just run away from me. Because I feel like the welters, they sort of come and have a little go with you. And I feel like when people stand there and actually have a fight with me, you see a completely different type of fighter where I haven't got to go and chase. I haven't got to. I can stay in the pocket. I can work with them, and like I think like then you're going to see the best out of me. Like, anybody who comes and fights with me, like even when we're sparring and stuff like that, there's not too many people who actually stand and actually have a fight with me. They all seem to all want to move and run and stuff like that. So when I do get in a pocket, I'm a good fighter. So hopefully the welters, hopefully they bring some exciting wars for me.
And where does that mental resilience come from? Because I've never boxed, but it must be tough to just keep bouncing back. So is that like your upbringing, just the people that you've been around?
Yeah, when you grow up where I'm from and at my life, I'm from the best of upbringings, but like everything we sort of needed it, but never anything more than that sort of thing. Very very tough upbringing. My dad was a very tough man on me. I won't go too deep about that, but yeah, it was my little way of getting away from what was happening at home, and my little bit of a piece to be in a boxing gym, and I sort of loved it. And when every boxing trainer I've had, I've sort of looked up to them like they're my father figure. So like I've always felt comfort in the gym, and then like I'm just one of them geezers. What like you, a molehill will be a mountain to me, but a mountain will be a molehill. I'm sort of like the bigger the challenge. I don't know. There's more like I rise to it. When I found out I had cancer, I had testicular cancer. I come through that. I just thought like I'm gonna be all right. It's me. I'm sweet. I'm always all right. And that's the way I always feel. That's where I always feel. And then when you get told you've got cancer, you it's like somebody saying to you, you've got a death sentence. Like you're in death row right now. You're gonna die. So to experience that as a mentor and feel like I was very grateful that I only had the testicular cancer and nothing major more than that. But at the same time, you still feel like the same thoughts and stuff like that going through your head. So to come through that and to be boxing again is an achievement in itself. And another one is inspiring a lot of people where like don't let anything bother you. Just keep chasing your dream. I think that's what motivates me every day.
When mate, I'll take my hat off to you because I think as well when they say if you've got cancer, it's an incredible thing to remain positive. It helps people massively. So when you've been through something like that and you fear the worst, when you lose a boxing match, does it almost just that former experience just put that almost like into perspective? Yeah, you've lost a fight, but you're still around, you can still fight again.
Yeah, a lot of people out there, like I look at all these kids coming through, they're getting signed by Frank Warren and stuff, and like they get signed by Indiana and like had a very good amateur background myself. Signed with a terrible manager when I first ever signed. And then I got picked up by Dave Caldwell, who was good. He opened a couple of doors for me, got me on the Eddie Hearn shows and stuff like that. But I just feel like the time was wrong then. But I see all these young kids coming through now, and I'm a tested man. Like, I've been on the floor, I've been cut, I've been in hard fights. I just love the opportunity now to be put into them type of be promoted and have that little bit of backing, a bit of thing. What I feel like I deserve. Like, I feel like I need. Like, I'd love to be like backed by like Eddie Hearn or like Boxer or someone like that. Like MTK did a wicked job with me. Like their management like is top level. Like, they're really good. Like Lee and Adam Hart, who's my manager. They do a great job with me. To be fair, they keep me active and that that. But I just feel like I just want to be in the bigger fights and the bigger shows. I sell massive tickets. Like, when I box on Eddie Hearn show up Sheffield, I did 800 tickets. Like, it's mad that like I don't get picked up by all these promoters and put onto the show and give me the right fights, the right time, because I've sparred with some top level fighters and I feel like I've done more than hold my own with them. So I just like to get promoted by someone like that, and just I've been experienced. You know what I mean? I'm an experienced geezer, and I feel like I've still got a lot to offer. I don't feel like I'm 30. I feel like I'm just coming into my peak. So I'd like that really in my career now.
Well, hopefully, mate, you know, there are, you know, a lot of platforms out there now. What do you sort of make of the landscape? Because Eddie Hearn obviously moving his stable over to DAZN. You've got Sky working with Boxer. You know, they've had some great main events, maybe some questionable undercards, and obviously Frank Warren doing his thing. What do you make of it all in a minute?
I think it's great. It's like, there's a show on every week. Boxing's on the up. More people understand boxing. More people know about boxing. Social media is making it massive. I think it's great, and then more geezers are getting more opportunities, which is what we need. We need, like, you dedicate your life and like, and all speaks for all of us boxers. We dedicate our life for it, and if it's more opportunities, the more better. You know what I mean? Like, more kids are going to get the chance to like achieve their dream, and like there's more people out there back in the sport. There's more, like, you've got Hennessy on Channel 5, you've got Pro Bellum on Eurosport, you've got DAZN, you've got Boxer on Sky Sports. You like, there's so many opportunities, and like, it used to only be like Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn and like Mick Hennessy, and like there's 3 people there, and like they only have their certain fighters and that, and all the other ones all on small horse shows, busting them up to try and sell a ticket. Whereas all these are all like, there's about 7 or 8 now, and like they've all got their fighters and that. Like, it's just boxing's just gonna go. Boxing's just on the way up now. It's massive. It's brilliant.
What advice, you know, you mentioned a couple of times about if you had your time again, maybe you'd have done things a little bit differently. You know, there'd be people watching this that, you know, amateur boxers or, you know, pro boxers that are just turned over. What advice would you give to young fighters coming through?
Box people with one arm for 20 fights.
Just pad your record up.
Build your record, man. Make yourself look like the fucking man, and then jump in the title fights. Earn your money. They're like, that's a smart way about doing it. Like, really, like, people, like, they look at records, and I speak about my record, and like, people are like, well, I've won 11, I've lost 5, and I've drew 2, but that's on paper. Like, people only see that, and when you speak to people, like, and they ask me what my records or pro records, as soon as I say my record, people look at me like, oh, he must be shit. He's lost fights. If you ain't in the Floyd Mayweather scene, like, they don't really want to. They're not really interested. You know what I mean? It's only that my friends and people who obviously follow me and know about me on like coming through and obviously having good tear ups and stuff like that. I know every time I fight, it's going to be an absolute war. That's why I sell good tickets and that. But if it wasn't, then people are only looking at BoxRec and what promoters and stuff like that. Like Frank Warren, them kids who are building them up and that, like, they're not even fought one decent fighter. And there's a couple of geezers on there like 15 and 0 and they ain't boxed anybody. And you think to yourself, wow, like, what did I ever do wrong in my career? Why have I had so many hard fights? Like, my 10th fight I was boxing like Dean Byrne, he was like Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner, and like, he just boxed for the Irish title before me. The fight before that, he boxed David Avician. Like, people like that, just before David Avician won the first world title. Like, I've been in with some proper top kids from, like, I think I boxed Robbie Barrett in my debut. He ended up becoming like British champion in his own back garden. He was 4-0 fighter. Like, from my day one, I've boxed like Anybody who they've told me box. If it's the right fight, I'll take it. If it excites me, it wants me to wake up in the morning, he's the man who I want. That's the way
Yeah,
that's what it is. But that's not down to me as a fighter. That's down to me as a man. Like, that's down to my management team at the beginning of my career. I was very poor. It was very poor. Like, they just didn't give a shit about me. I was a very naive kid. I didn't understand the pro game and stuff like that. So that's another area where I'd like to go in my career when I finish with is going into actually like management, like very like Steffi Ball. Steffi Ball, I rate him. I think he's a great person, a great manager, and to go as a fighter and experience what he does is as a fighter. Then now all of a sudden now he's a manager and he puts his boxers first. I think he's a great manager. He's a geezer who had Robbie Barrett at the time. But like, he boxed and he see the other end of it. Now he looks after his boxers and he does well for them, to be fair. Look at Terry Harper, like, she's come through. Jason Cunningham, he's come through. Robbie Barrett, he come through. Gav McDonald, Jamie McDonald, like all these kids, they come through Steffi. And it's only because Steffi's like really back their corner and like, because he understands the game. He ain't like matey boys just come off the block and he's trying to like become this great geezer. He's actually been there and lived the life, and I feel like he's a good man, Steffi, to be fair.
Yeah, I think also hasn't he just helped Raven Chapman get a deal with Frank Warren?
Yeah, like I rate Steffi. I think he's great. I think what he does with all these boys is amazing. So like, me as a person, I sort of look up to Steffi as well in the way like he trains all these boys and like stuff like I do personal training and training myself. So when I finished, I want to train fighters and I'd love to be a manager as well, and get out there and like trying to help the boys, not be out there trying to nick a couple of quid off them, just out there for the boys and making them reach their full potentials. That's what I want. I care about because I've been in this shoe and I've been used basically like in certain situations where I should never have boxed in. Like I've been used by certain people. I just feel like I've been in that position, so I'd never like to see other people be in that position. You know what I mean? I'd like to see what they could reach their full potential and see what they're really about.
Yeah, like you say, mate, you've been there, you've done it, you've got the T-shirt. So, you know, I've totally agree. There'd be no one better really to guide a young fighter's career.
Sorry about that, mate.
That's all right, no worries. Just a couple from me as well, mate. What about just generally people that are having a hard time? You know, there's obviously a lot going on in the world at the moment. We're obviously coming off the back of a pandemic where, you know, a lot of people struggle with that. You know, again, obviously you've been through a lot, you've overcome it. What advice would you give to people having a tough time?
Don't look into the future. Don't look into the past. What it is. Like, basically, the past is in the past. You can't change it. Yeah, but the future, don't let that bother you, because that will let brings anxiety. And I know like a couple of people deal with it, and I've dealt with that with myself. Like, sometimes you think too far ahead, and you get into this, getting a bit of stress, and you know what I mean, a bit of anxiety. Mental health. But if you don't exercise and you don't do anything like that, I think I suggest you I'd highly recommend go for a walk, go for a run, start writing things down and what you're grateful for on a daily, and like realizing what you've got and what you ain't got in life. Like, sometimes I'll sit there and I think like sometimes about my position, and I think to myself, God, but some other person would love to be in my position. You know what I mean? Like a lot of well, in 2006, one of my really good friends when I was growing up, he got stabbed and he died back in 2006. So he's not here. So I always think to myself, like, he would love to be in my position now. So like, why would I be so down and depressed and feel hard on myself in life when my friend's not here? He's not seeing his kid what he never see in his life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out here and I'm feeling down about life. So him is a very very big inspiration to me in certain ways like that. So he's the one who keeps me very headstrong and makes me realize a lot about life.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that before. I'm sorry to hear about your friend, and I think you know, I hear what you're saying. You've only got to turn the telly on at the moment, and I think that almost puts life into perspective. You know,
look at the Ukrainians, look at the Syrians and stuff like that. Like, they're in wars. and we're over here worrying about a little bit of gas price. Like, we don't realise how lucky we are.
Yeah, I think that hits the nail on the head, mate. And just finally as well, we know you're a boxer, and there are a lot of interviews with yourself, talking about your background, your upbringing, and a lot more. But what do you do? What do you enjoy doing away from boxing, away from the gym, away from fighting when you got downtime? Have you put the sweets away yet? I saw after your fight, mate, you were proper tucking in.
Yeah, man, I put some mad weight on right now.
I'm not surprised.
I've lost weight. Like my nutritionist, Pete Miller, like, he's the bollocks, man. To be fair, he's got me back on it now. And my trainer gives me a load of stick about being a fucker. So yeah, I'm back on it now. But what did you say? What do I like to do in my downtime?
What do you enjoy? Just away from boxing altogether.
I know what my life is, boxing. I like spending time with my daughter. Love it. Like, I used to be like always out and like out with my friends and stuff like that. But since I've become a dad, it was like the time that I get, I love being around my girl. I love it. Like being around my girlfriend, like just really settled in life, like really. I like going out, I like eating food, but yeah, I can only eat a couple certain amount, like in after fights and stuff like that. Yeah, just being like being a dad, really. I like that. But a big part of it is like I suffer with a bit of a mental health, so in that aspect, I like to always train. I like to keep my mind sane, and I love. To be fair, I love my personal training. I love all the thing what I've set up. I've got my own little place now, and I train people. So even though I'm around boxing, it feels like I'm not around boxing as well, because I'm around like-minded people and I'm helping them progress. So yeah, I really enjoy the personal training side of things. It's not, I don't feel like I go to work. It's just what I love. And when I pass my knowledge on to someone and you're seeing how happy and buzzing they are, like, I love that energy.
Yeah, I know from speaking to you last week, you said, look, I've got to do this work. I've got to get home, see the family for a bit, and then I'll jump on.
Yeah, I'm up at 5 in the morning. I do my run at 5 in the morning. I'm back at like I leave the house at 6:15. I go to work at 7. I'm working till like 10. I'm back home for a bit of breakfast. I'm back in the gym at 12 until 2. And I'll get home at 3. Then I have some food. I'm at the door at 3:30, and I ain't back until late at night. Like, people don't understand how much I graft. And then like at night, I see my little girl for about an hour, and then I go to bed. So like on the weekends, when I get that chance to have my downtime, that's where I like to have my little catch up with my little girl. So yeah, I'm a very busy man.
Yeah, that's some definite work ethic there, mate. Well, listen, mate, it's been a pleasure to get you on tonight. I wanted to get you on for a little while. We couldn't before the fight because obviously naturally you were focused on that. And but yeah, we appreciate you coming on and just talking about your last fight. And there'll be a lot of people watching this that of course know you, but there'll be a lot of people as well that have coming across you for the first time. So mate, yeah, we appreciate you coming on.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's mad, these little podcasts, isn't it? You just end up talking. You sort of lose what you're talking about. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, honestly, mate, I could keep you on here all night. I had to sort of write some bullet points down to talk to you about, but when do you stop? There's so much going on in the world of boxing, just so much happening. But and of course, you've been up since 5, so we're taking enough of your time up. But listen, mate, I'll keep an eye out on your social media, and hopefully we can get you back on when you announce another fight.
Yeah, it'll be announced this week, 30th of April. Anyway, that's when I'm boxing. So
lovely stuff. All right, mate.